Big Bang Theory, Season 1 Episode 15. Series 01 Episode 15 The Porkchop Indeterminacy Scene, a corridor at the university. Leonard. On the other hand, some physicists are concerned that if the super collider actually works, it will create a black hole and swallow up the Earth, ending life as we know it. Raj. PSH, what a bunch of crybabies. No guts, no glory, man. Scientific concept. Super collider, black hole, refers to particle accelerators like the Large Hadron Collider, and the hypothetical risk of creating micro-black holes. Expression. The opening highlights the guy's immersion in high-level physics, even when discussing apocalyptic scenarios. Raj's casual dismissal, no guts, no glory, is a humorous contrast to the gravity of the subject, showcasing his sometimes exaggerated bravado, especially when speaking to other men. Leonard, looking at an orange notice on the notice board, hey, check it out, the School of Pharmacology is looking for volunteers. Raj, we're testing a new medication for social anxiety, panic attacks, agoraphobia and obsessive-compulsive disorder. Why would they be looking for test subjects here? Leonard, I don't know, Raj. Maybe the comic book store doesn't have a bulletin board. Expression. This is a self-deprecating joke about the social awkwardness and mental health challenges often associated with the nerd stereotype, implying that the university's science department is a prime recruiting ground for such a study. Raj's serious question about why here further emphasizes his obliviousness, which Leonard's sarcastic reply punctures. Howard. Shush. Hot girl in Sheldon's office. Leonard. Sheldon's office? Is she lost? Howard. Don't think so. I followed her here from the parking lot. Leonard. Maybe she's his lawyer. Howard. Well, she's free to examine my briefs. Leonard. Howard? Howard. I know, I'm disgusting, I should be punished by her. Oh look, I did it again. Expression. The immediate and collective focus of the guys on an attractive woman, showing their perennial sexual frustration and lack of social graces. Howard's crude and repetitive sexual innuendo, examine my briefs, punished by her, is a classic display of his character, constantly towing the line of inappropriateness. The implication that she must be lost, or a lawyer, if she's in Sheldon's office highlights their expectation that Sheldon couldn't possibly know an attractive woman socially. Sheldon. Thank you for coming by. He rises from his desk. Everyone rushes to look nonchalant. Hello. Leonard. Oh, hey buddy. Sheldon. Buddy. Howard. Sorry I'm late, I'm working on a project that may take me up on the next space shuttle. Expression. The guy's frantic attempt to appear casual when caught spying, immediately followed by Howard's transparent and exaggerated lie about his supposed importance, space shuttle, to impress the unknown woman. Sheldon's simple, buddy, to Leonard highlights his awkwardness. Sheldon. How can you be late? I wasn't expecting you at all. Howard. Nobody ever expects me. Sometimes you just look in. Bam. Shakes girl's hand, Howard Wolowitz. Expression. Sheldon's literal interpretation of Howard's lie, showcasing his lack of social nuance. Howard's attempt at a suave, unexpected introduction with a bam is painfully awkward, further emphasizing his failed attempts at coolness. Missy. Oh, he once spent 9 months with my legs wrapped around his head. Leonard. Excuse me? Sheldon. She's my twin sister, she thinks she's funny but frankly I've never been able to see it. Missy. It's because you have no measurable sense of humor, Shelley. Expression. Missy's shockingly blunt and humorous introduction, referring to their shared womb, immediately disarming the guys. Sheldon's characteristic literal interpretation and scientific dismissal of humor, humormometer, highlight his social blindness, while Missy's retort, measurable sense of humor, accurately pegs his personality. This establishes Missy as a direct and quick-witted character, a foil to Sheldon. Howard. Well, I think you're delightfully droll. Or as the French say, très drôle. Missy. Okay, so let me see if I got this. Leonard. Howard and I'm sorry, what was your name again? Raj looks uncomfortable, turns and walks away, disappears round corner. He then reappears, takes the orange paper from the notice board and leaves again. Expression. Howard's attempt to use French to flirt, showcasing his unimpressive seduction techniques. Missy's immediate forgetting of Raj's name triggers his pathological shyness, causing him to literally run away and return only to grab the anxiety medication flyer, a brilliant visual gag that underlines his condition. Scene: the same. Leonard: so Missy, what brings you all the way from Texas? Howard: was it perhaps destiny? I think it was destiny. Missy: my friend's getting married in Disneyland tomorrow night. Howard: destiny, thy name is Anaheim. Cultural references: Texas, Disneyland. Anaheim. Geographic locations. Anaheim is where Disneyland is located. Expression: Howard's immediate and desperate attempt to inject romantic destiny into Missy's visit, showcasing his constant pursuit of women. His theatrical, destiny, thy name is Anaheim, is another example of his over-the-top personality. Missy: and I had to drop off some papers for Shelley to sign for my dad's estate. Sheldon: the papers could have been mailed, Mom just sent you here to spy on me, didn't she? Missy: I guess that's why they call you a genius. Sheldon: they call me a genius because I'm a genius. Tell Mom that I currently weigh 165 pounds, and that I'm having regular bowel movements. Enjoy the wedding, goodbye. Expression: the reveal of Missy's more mundane purpose, contrasting with the guy's romantic hopes. Sheldon's immediate paranoid accusation against his mother, followed by his childish and TMI updates, 165 pounds, regular bowel movements, for his mom, further illustrates his social ineptitude and odd family dynamics. Leonard and Howard together. Whoa, whoa. Leonard: if the wedding's not until tomorrow, why don't you stay with us tonight? Missy: oh, I don't think so. Shelley doesn't like company. Even as a little boy he'd send his imaginary friends home at the end of the day. Sheldon: they were not friends, they were imaginary colleagues. Expression: Leonard and Howard's synchronized attempt to keep Missy, driven by their attraction. Missy's anecdote about Sheldon's imaginary friends, colleagues offers a humorous insight into his lifelong social isolation and control issues. Sheldon: I don't issue invitations to your mother. Missy: well, it would be nice not to have to drive out to Anaheim in rush hour. Sheldon: and don't ever call me Shelley. Leonard: so it's settled. You'll stay with us. Howard: I'll walk you to your car. You're in Structure 3 Level C, right? Expression: Sheldon's continued resistance to Missy staying, highlighting his discomfort with sharing his space. Missy's pragmatic reason for wanting to stay appeals to Leonard's hospitality, and Howard's immediate knowledge of her parking spot, from stalking her, is a cringeworthy moment of his creepiness. Scene: the apartment. Missy: so anyway, we're 8 years old, and Sheldon converts my easy bake oven to some kind of high-powered furnace. Leonard: he, just classic. Sheldon: I needed a place to fire ceramic semiconductor substrates for homemade integrated circuits. Missy: he was trying to build some kind of armed robot to keep me out of his room. Sheldon: made necessary by her insistence on going into my room. Cultural reference: easy bake oven, a toy oven for children. Scientific concepts: ceramic semi-conductor substrates, integrated circuits, components of electronic devices. Expression: Missy's anecdote about Sheldon's destructive scientific experiments in childhood, modifying an easy bake oven, confirming his lifelong scientific obsession and his disregard for others' belongings. Sheldon's immediate technical justification and Missy's reveal of his true, more aggressive purpose, armed robot, is highly amusing, showing their long-standing sibling rivalry. Missy: anyway, I go to make those little corn muffins they give you, there's a big flash, next thing you know my eyebrows are gone. Howard: ha ha, not your eyebrows? Missy: yep. I had to go through the entire second grade with crooked eyebrows my mom drew on. Sheldon: is that what that was? I just assumed that the second grade curriculum had rendered you quizzical. Expression: Missy's humorous recounting of her childhood disfigurement, followed by Sheldon's cold, analytical, and utterly insensitive explanation for her drawn-on eyebrows, highlighting his complete lack of empathy and his tendency to intellectualize everything. Penny, knocking and entering, holding up a pair of Superman undershorts. Hey. Leonard, you left your underwear in the dryer downstairs. Leonard, those are not mine. Penny, really, they have your little name label in them. Leonard, yeah, no, I do. I use those, just to polish up my spearfishing equipment. I spearfish. When I'm not crossbow hunting, I spearfish. Penny, this is Sheldon's twin sister, Missy. Missy, this is our neighbor Penny. Cultural reference. Superman undershorts. A classic superhero motif. Expression. Penny's unexpected, and embarrassing, entrance with Leonard's laundry, exposing his nerdy underwear. Leonard's incredibly flustered and absurd lie about using them for spearfishing equipment highlights his deep embarrassment and his desperate attempt to appear masculine to Penny. Penny, wow, you don't look that much alike. Howard, can I get a hallelujah? Sheldon, fraternal twins come from two separate eggs, they are no more alike than any other siblings. Howard, hallelujah. Scientific concept, fraternal twins. Twins developed from two separate eggs, genetically no more alike than non-twin siblings. Expression. Penny's observation about Missy's attractiveness compared to Sheldon's less appealing features. Howard's celebratory, hallelujah, immediately confirms his attraction, followed by Sheldon's pedantic scientific explanation of fraternal twins, which Howard then mockingly repeats as another, hallelujah. Raj, running in, hey, guess what? I've been accepted as a test subject for a new miracle drug to overcome pathological shyness. Penny, hey, good for you, Raj. Raj, yes, I'm very hopeful. Hello Missy. He waves his hand. It keeps waving. They mentioned there may be side effects. Expression. The return of Raj, now on an experimental drug for his shyness. His confident, hello Missy, quickly dissolves into an uncontrolled, persistent handwave, revealing the humorous side effects of his medication and foreshadowing further awkwardness. Scene. The same, later. Raj. So, Missy. Have you ever met a man from the exotic subcontinent of India? Missy. Well, there's Dr. Patel at our church. Raj. Ah yes, Dr. Patel, good man. Expression. Raj's attempt to highlight his exotic background, immediately undercut by Missy's mention of a commonplace Indian man in her life, showing his failed attempt at being unique. Howard. Do you like motorcycles? 'Cause I ride a hog. Raj. A hog? You have a 2-cylinder scooter with a basket on the front. Howard. You still have to wear a helmet. Expression. Howard's exaggerated lie about his transportation, immediately exposed by Raj's brutal honesty, revealing Howard's insecurity and Raj's, now medicated, willingness to be blunt. Raj. Have you ever heard of the Kama Sutra? Missy. The sex book? Raj. The Indian sex book. In other words, if you wonder who wrote the Book of Love, it was us. Cultural reference. Kama Sutra, an ancient Indian Sanskrit text on sexuality, eroticism, and emotional fulfillment. Who wrote the Book of Love, a classic doo-wop song. Expression. Raj's increasingly bold, and still awkward, attempts to use his Indian heritage to impress Missy, linking it to the Kama Sutra and then clumsily quoting a song, showcasing his lack of natural flirtation. Penny. To Leonard. Hey, Sheldon's sister's pretty cute, IW. Leonard. I wasn't staring. Penny. I didn't say you were, I just said she was cute. Leonard. Oh, maybe, if you like women who are tall and perfect. Expression. Leonard's guilty overreaction to Penny's innocent comment, immediately revealing his own attraction to Missy. His subsequent awkward attempts to describe Missy's attractiveness are cringeworthy. Sheldon. I'm not ignoring my sister. I'm ignoring all of you. Expression. Sheldon's dismissive and arrogant statement, highlighting his general disdain for social interaction and his inability to connect with people. Raj. Missy, do you enjoy pajamas? Missy. I guess. Raj. We Indians invented them. You're welcome. Howard. Yeah, well my people invented circumcision. You're welcome. Cultural references. Pajamas, originating in India. Circumcision, practiced by various cultures, including Jewish, historical, cultural origins. Expression. Raj's continued, absurd attempts to impress Missy by claiming credit for inventions from his culture. Howard's immediate and even more awkward, and TMI, counter boast about his people's invention of circumcision is a new low for his attempts at impressing women, escalating the comedic absurdity. Penny. Missy, I'm going to go get my nails done. Do you want to come? Missy. God yes, thanks. Penny. You're welcome. Missy. Bye guys. Howard. Bye Missy. Leonard. Bye Missy, see you. Penny. Goodbye Leonard. Leonard. Yeah, no, bye Penny. Expression. Penny offering Missy an escape from the guy's awkward flirtations, highlighting their shared, female, space. Penny's sharp and pointed, goodbye Leonard, after Leonard's overly enthusiastic goodbye to Missy shows her awareness of his attraction and her subtle disapproval, making Leonard flustered. Howard. Okay, you two have to back off. Raj. Why should I back off? You back off dude. Leonard. Excuse me, this is my apartment and she's my roommate's sister. Howard. So what, you've already got Penny. Leonard. How'd I have Penny? In what universe do I have Penny? Howard. So I can have Penny? Leonard. Hell, no. Expression. The immediate competition and territoriality among the guys once. Missy is gone, squabbling over who gets to pursue her. Howard's accusation that Leonard has Penny, which Leonard vehemently denies, highlights the lack of clear boundaries in their relationships and Leonard's frustrated desire for Penny. Sheldon. Excuse me, can I interject something? I'm ordering pizza online, is everyone okay with pepperoni? Leonard. Sheldon, can I talk to you in private? Sheldon. I guess. Don't worry, I was going to order you cheeseless. Leonard. Thank you. Sheldon. That's okay. Lactose intolerance is nothing to be embarrassed about. Expression. Sheldon's obliviousness to the emotional tension focused on pizza. His assumption that Leonard's private talk is about his lactose intolerance is a classic example of his literal mindedness and lack of social intuition. Howard. I'm a fancy Indian man, we invented pajamas. Raj. Hey, look at me, I don't have a foreskin. Expression. The continued descent into absurdity and TMI from Raj and Howard, still trying to one-up each other with cultural or anatomical facts, showcasing their immaturity. Scene. Sheldon's bedroom. Leonard. Sheldon, are you aware that your sister is an incredibly attractive woman? Sheldon. She certainly has the symmetry and low body fat that Western culture deems desirable. It's noteworthy that at other points in history, heavier women were the standard for beauty because their girth suggested affluence. Scientific, sociological concepts, symmetry, low body fat, historical beauty standards. Sheldon's response is a detached, scientific analysis of attractiveness, completely devoid of personal feeling or attraction, showcasing his asexual nature and his intellectual approach to human physiology. Sheldon. I didn't say it was fascinating, I said it was noteworthy. Expression. Sheldon's pedantic correction of Leonard's word choice, emphasizing his need for precise language. Sheldon. You know, I don't want to criticize your rhetorical style, but we'd be a lot further along in this conversation if you'd begun with that thought. Expression. Sheldon's condescending feedback on Leonard's communication style, even in a private conversation about a sensitive topic, highlighting his superior attitude. Sheldon. Why? Leonard. Because she's your sister. Sheldon. I don't understand. Yes, we shared a uterus for 9 months, but since then we've pretty much gone our own separate ways. Expression. Sheldon's complete lack of understanding of the social implications of she's your sister, reducing it to a biological fact. His disregard for familial bonds beyond shared DNA is a core part of his character. Leonard. Okay, consider this. With your father gone, it is your responsibility to make sure that Missy chooses a suitable mate. Sheldon. I hadn't considered that. We do share DNA. Leonard. Sheldon. So there is the possibility, however remote, that resting in her loins is the potential for another individual as remarkable as myself. Leonard. Exactly. And you owe it to yourself and to posterity to protect the genetic integrity of your sister's future offspring. Scientific concept. Genetic integrity. The idea of preserving genetic quality. Expression. Leonard's manipulation of Sheldon's ego and scientific obsession by reframing the issue as genetic responsibility. Sheldon's immediate embrace of the idea of another individual as remarkable as myself, through Missy's loins, as both hilarious and unsettling, showing how his ego can be exploited. Sheldon, you're right. If someone wants to get at Missy's fallopian tubes, they'll have to go through me. Anatomical reference. Fallopian tubes. Part of the female reproductive system. Expression. Sheldon's complete acceptance of his genetic protector role, using a scientific term to describe Missy's reproductive organs and declaring himself as the gatekeeper, a darkly humorous and creepy moment. Scene. The living room. Raj. I am Shiva the Destroyer, I will have the woman. Howard. I'm warning you, I was judo champion at math camp. Cultural reference. Shiva the Destroyer, Hindu deity, a powerful deity. Judo champion at math camp, a humorous juxtaposition of physical prowess with a nerdy setting. Expression. Raj and Howard's juvenile and theatrical fighting, embodying exaggerated personas. Raj's adoption of a powerful Hindu deity name is over the top, while Howard's math camp judo champion claim is hilariously specific and unconvincing. Sheldon. All right, that's enough juvenile squabbling, stop it I say. I'm going to settle this right now. Neither of you are good enough for my sister. Howard. Who are you to decide that? Leonard. He's the man of his family, you have to respect his wishes. Sheldon. You're out too, by the way. Leonard. Say what? Sheldon. It's nothing personal, I'd just prefer if my future niece or nephew didn't become flatulent every time they eat an Eskimo pie. Cultural reference. Eskimo pie, a brand of ice cream bar. Expression. Sheldon's dramatic intervention, immediately asserting his self-appointed authority to judge potential mates for Missy. His blunt and insulting rejection of Leonard, citing his lactose intolerance and potential flatulence in future offspring, highlights his clinical approach to genetic selection and his lack of personal filter. Raj. I'm not happy, it's the medication, I can't stop smiling. Waves hand at mouth. It keeps waving. Expression. Raj's continued, uncontrollable side effects from the medication, adding to the visual comedy. Raj. Everybody knows genetic diversity produces the strongest offspring. Why not put a little mocha in the family? Latte. Scientific concept. Genetic diversity, the variation of genes within a population. Expression. Raj's attempt to use a legitimate scientific principle, genetic diversity, to argue for his own suitability, using a slightly inappropriate analogy, mocha in the family latte. Raj, waving finger at him. I think you're focusing entirely too much on the drugs. Finger keeps waving. Leonard has to reach out and stop it. Expression. Raj's ironic, and physically humorous, protest against focusing on his medication, while his body continues to betray him. Howard. Is it 'cause I'm Jewish, 'cause I'd kill my rabbi with a pork chop to be with your sister. Cultural reference. Jewish, rabbi, pork chop. References to Judaism and a non-kosher food. Expression. Howard's dramatic, self-sacrificing, and religiously inappropriate declaration to prove his devotion to Missy, showing the depths of his desperation. Sheldon. This has nothing to do with religion. This has to do with the fact that you're a tiny, tiny man who still lives with his mother. Expression. Sheldon's brutally honest and personal attack on Howard, cutting right to his insecurities, highlighting his merciless side when he feels justified. Sheldon. Am I? Here, eat this cheese without farting and you can sleep with my sister. Missy, who has just entered. Oh. Really? Sheldon. Oops. Expression. Sheldon's ultimate test of genetic suitability for Leonard, directly linking it to his lactose intolerance. Missy's unexpected arrival and her shocked, "Oh really?" provides an immediate comedic payoff, leading to Sheldon's rare, oops, as he realizes he's been caught. Scene. Sheldon's bedroom. Missy. Okay, I'm not even going to ask why you're pimping me out for cheese. But since when do you care at all about who I sleep with? Sheldon. Truthfully, I've never given it any thought, but it has been pointed out to me that you carry DNA of great potential. Expression. Missy's direct confrontation. Of Sheldon's absurdity, pimping me out for cheese. Sheldon's blunt admission that he never cared, but was manipulated by Leonard's DNA of great potential argument. Highlights his susceptibility to intellectual flattery. Sheldon. Let me explain. You see, I'm a superior genetic mutation, an improvement on the existing mediocre stock. Missy. And what do you mean, mediocre stock? Sheldon. That would be you. But residing within you is the potential for another me, perhaps even taller, smarter and less prone to freckling, a Sheldon 2.0 if you will. Scientific concepts. Genetic mutation. Mediocre stock, Sheldon 2.0. Sheldon's utterly arrogant and insulting explanation of his superiority, and Missy's mediocre genetics, while simultaneously objectifying her as a vessel for a Sheldon 2.0, showcasing his extreme narcissism and lack of familial affection. Sheldon. Now, I am not saying that I should be the sole decider of who you mate with. If you're not attracted to the suitor, then the likelihood of conception would be reduced. Missy. You have got to be kidding me. Sheldon. Not at all. Frequent coitus dramatically increases the odds of fertilization. Expression. Sheldon's pseudo-concession, still couched in scientific terms. Followed by his clinical and explicit explanation of coitus to Missy, highlighting his complete lack of social boundaries regarding personal topics. Missy. Okay Shelley, sit down. Now I've lived my whole life dealing with the fact that my twin brother is, as Mom puts it, one of God's special little people. Sheldon. I always thought I was more like a cuckoo bird. You know, a superior creature whose egg is placed in the nest of ordinary birds. Of course the newly hatched cuckoo eats all the food, leaving the ordinary siblings to starve to death. Luckily for you, that's where the metaphor ended. Cultural reference. One of God's special little people, a euphemism for someone with intellectual disabilities or extreme eccentricity. Cuckoo bird. A bird known for laying its eggs in other birds' nests, and whose hatchlings often push out the hosts' eggs. Expression. Missy's frank, and slightly resentful, admission about dealing with Sheldon. Sheldon's immediate and unsettling self. Comparison to a cuckoo bird, and his dark extension of the metaphor, eats all the food, starved to death, reveals his unsettlingly high opinion of himself and his competitive view of family dynamics. Missy. I want you to know I'm very proud of you. Sheldon. Really? Missy. Yup, I'm always bragging to my friends about my brother the rocket scientist. Sheldon. You tell people I'm a rocket scientist? Missy. Well yeah. Sheldon. I'm a theoretical physicist. Missy. What's the difference? Sheldon. What's the difference? Missy. Goodbye Shelley. Sheldon. My God. Why don't you just tell them I'm a toll taker at the Golden Gate Bridge? Rocket scientist, how humiliating. Cultural reference. Rocket scientist, theoretical physicist, toll taker at the Golden Gate Bridge. Different professions, with rocket scientist being a common term for high intelligence, and toll taker, a more mundane job. Expression. Missy's genuine attempt at sisterly pride, which Sheldon immediately ruins by correcting her about his specific field of physics. His outrage at being called a rocket scientist, and his comparison to a toll taker, implying extreme humiliation, is a classic Sheldon moment, showcasing his obsessive need for precision and his intellectual snobbery.